So, hello and welcome back to the channel. Seem to be repeating myself on that one quite a bit. Anyway, thanks a lot for joining me again. I'm trying to give this another go. Now, you may be wondering why I am sat at a Mondeo. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try something different for the channel and a different separate playlist. I'm going to try and do something that I've done for a while, like buying and selling cars and whatnot, and I'm going to try and make this Mondeo into a Focus RS Mark III. Now you might be thinking, well, that's physically impossible, Grant. It's a 5-door Mondeo, you can't make this into a Focus RS Mark III. You're totally right, I can't. The logistics of it just does not work. But what I can do is sell it. And then with the money I get from profit, put it towards another car and so on until I eventually get the money for a Focus RS Mark III. Now, I'm not made of money. By no means am I made of money. But so this is initial outlay of £1,100. That's a wee pot I had sitting and I'm just put to this. Luckily enough, I'm saying lucky, it's probably not a term for it. Unfortunately, one of my friend's uncles passed away and I was fortunate enough to get asked if I wanted to buy this car. Now I'd never seen it, never knew anything about it. But being a Ford and it was cheap enough at £1,100, I thought, you know what, I'll take a gamble, let's buy it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it with the cars I've got, but I'll buy it anyway. I'm glad I did. And it's given me the idea of showing that you can actually, not just like, Mike can do on Wheeler Deals, you can actually do it yourself if you've got a small enough pot and willing to put in the rich time to try and, do up the cars and move them on. It's something I've done for ages and I've never documented it. I bought different cars here, there, RS Turbos, Escort Cosworths, Sierra Cosworths, even down to silly, run-of-the-mill cars, things that aren't luxury, things that aren't sports cars, just to try and make a quick turn on it. I think the enjoyment of working on a car, changing bits and bobs in the cars and selling them on for profits is quite endearing. It makes you appreciate more when it goes and knowing that you've sold that car and it's decent, not just this, I've taken this and gone. This is a great starter car for that. I'm really glad I took the gamble because it's immaculate. It really is. As close to immaculate as you can get. It's not far off it. This is a 2009 Mondeo Ghia, and it's a 2-litre TDCi, the engine that you want. I know that because I've run that on my Mondeo estate with air ride. It's just about to tick 100,000 miles. But the good thing about it is the documented history on it is massive. And it stacks right down to timing belts, servicing, chains, that kind of stuff. The filters, I've got receipts for brake pads, back discs, even Lincoln Magic trees, or little trees as they're called now. So this has been meticulously maintained, and I know for a fact it has because the customer I bought it off of, his wife had assured me that this was his pride and joy, even though it was just a mile muncher for him to drive from Ayrshire up to Aberdeen, every week, and it's clearly been able to do that. He's got the winter tyres on it, just in case anything ever happened on the way up to Aberdeen and whatnot, but they're all brand new. The inside is immaculate, and we'll hopefully edit in some photos of it inside here just now, and it's immaculate. It's just such a nice, comfortable place to be in. The Mondeos are great cars as it is, but trying to find a Mondeo that isn't rotten or get the back axles hanging out it is few and far between. Now I've had a good going over the car. I got it and it was pretty well presented, to be fair. He passed away I think 5-6 months ago, so the car sat. I turned before turning the key, put it in, both away it went. Great sign straight away. Everything works as it should. Aircon was working straight away. The fuel level was there, showing the temperatures were fine. Nothing untoward. Squishers worked, wipers worked, brakes worked. I was on to a winner. I'd already decided I was taking it anyway. So brought it down the road. The only faults I can find in it is a wee bit of rust on the back right arch, just a wee bit of surface rust at the bottom where they usually go, and a couple of wee scratches on the front bumper. Nothing major for a car that's a 2009 plate, it's a fair old age, and for the miles it's done, and for where it's been doing the miles. But it has been well maintained. I've got 2 sets of mats in the front, I've got a boot that's got a rubber boot tidy, and he's even put a carpet to keep the boot tidy. That's the kind of car you want to get. So my plan is to sell this. I'm going to put it up for, although initially I bought it for £1,100, I'm going to put it up for £4,000. Now, if you don't ask, you don't get. That's the way I look at things. So I think it'd be an ideal car for someone to take as, you know, I'd sell it to a family with no issues, a family that's maybe wanting, you know, a cheap runabout, they could put the kids in the back, do their miles down south, family holidays, and be safe in. And I know if I sold this car to someone that I'm not going to worry about it. I have got a couple of people that are interested and I haven't even advertised it yet. So I don't expect to get the £4,000, but you have to start somewhere. You have to start high, and for the car I want to get, every penny helps. So the plan is, put it for 4, see what we get for it. I know anything over £1,100 of profit, so even if it was 100, 200, 1,000, I'm going to take it because everything's profit. And then with that pot, I'll see exactly what I've got to go and buy something else. And if it's decent enough and I need to do some work to it, then I will have that outlay. I maybe have to, you know, put a tyre on a car. But I'm lucky that the first one I've got, I don't really need to do anything. I think I'll get away with the rust on the back arch. I'll maybe knock off a couple of £100 for that if someone was interested in it. Then I've basically just washed the car and I've sold it for the month for good money, which is a great way to start. Now, I know for a fact that it's not always going to be that way. Some of the cars that you know, with the budget is going to be sketchy. But I think there's a lot of cars out there that just need that wee bit of loving. All the cars I've got have all been the same. I've never paid full price for any of the cars that I have got. They've all been needing work, have had their issues, and I've fixed them because I really wanted that car. But I wasn't willing to pay, you know, like the £60,000 for the Escort Cosworth that's sitting there. I wouldn't pay that for one. I only paid 22 for mine. But through time I needed to spend about 20 grand to restore it and put it to the car it is just now, and I'm still under the money that the car's valued at. And I think it's such a good way to go to actually progress if you weren't a collector like me, but you wanted to step up your cars. So I'm going to show you that it's not just the guys on TV that can do it. You could probably do it at home as well. If you've got £1,000 sitting, burning a hole in your pocket, you could buy a cheap car like this and try and make a profit on it. Anything over what you spend will make you money on it. So I'm going to show you a video around about, and I'm going to advertise it and see how we go on. I don't know what I'm going to do with the video next because obviously I've not sold it yet, but I'm going to let you know that this car is up for sale for £4,000 or nearest offer. So if you would like this car, you can message me. So I'm going to show you around the car and then see where we go from there. Watch this. Now let's start with the front end. There's a registration plate if anyone wants to do their checks on it. Everything is as clean as a whistle. So faults, a scratch here, which has been obviously spotted by the previous owner and filled in a wee touch with the colour just to take obviously the black away from it. That's a dead bug. That's a dead bug because I haven't washed it properly. Sack me. Fog lights, the usual, they kind of steam up a wee bit, but they all work with no issues. For a car's done 100,000 miles, we don't have many stone chips. We do have a small light scuff here. Looks like someone's rubbed him, but he's touched up with paint and done the right thing to take your eye off it, and that's what makes it a pretty car. No stone chips on the bonnet. I mean, none. It's actually scary that this car has actually done the amount of miles that it's done. We have obviously the gear spec inside. It's hard to see because it's so dark. I should actually invest in a light, but the interior is so clean and tidy. So I've just managed to switch on the light on the camera, and you can see that the interior is still super, super tidy. Now bear in mind, I haven't touched the interior in this. Haven't done a thing to it. I've literally driven it home. Down here we have like 2 keys. Old school stuff, actually uses a key rather than push button. But I mean, the guy's got rubber mats to protect the actual mats. Mental, but that's what you want. You want someone that's looked after the car. And even though he's bought mats to look after the carpet, he's put another set of mats in it to look after the mats to look after the carpet. Magic, magic. Everything is and does work as it should in the car. Obviously decent radio in it. Aircon works icy, icy cold as well. It doesn't have DAB 2009, which is a shame. Electric windows that is back in front, and if you can see here, we have privacy glass as standard on it. This isn't a tint film, I've checked, and there's actually privacy glass that's in it. The back is still as clean as the front. It's almost like no one's sat in it at all. Obviously it's sitting on an armrest. No, honestly this car is super clean 12-volt port at the back as well. No rust up the arches. Maybe a wee spider there, that is for your charge. But this is the bit of rust I was telling you about here. It only just seems to start for here and then work down a wee bit. So I'm going to maybe have to polish that out a wee bit just to try and take an eye off it a wee touch. And it's just a bit of blistering. I think obviously the water catches in this back lip and rots from the inside out. But everything else is solid. I mean, where they usually rub in the usual folds here, it's totally fine. Even the alloys don't have any curb marks on them. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't with the profiles like that. Bodywork is straight as an arrow all the way down it as well. I mean, you just don't get cars like this, you know, and the metallic paint on it really pops as well. Tinted glass on the back. Standard sticker from where it came from. Decent enough, which means he's not fettled about it. Parking sensors at the back. The boot space in these are wild. I mean, you could literally put a dead body in there if you wanted. I mean, I wouldn't advise it, but you could. But we have a carpet, obviously protecting the boot liner. It's under in there as well. I mean, that's good because that keeps everything nice and tidy. And then spare wheel. Kit's all there underneath as well. No damage to the back at all. Clean as you like. The way a car should be. I don't understand why people don't look after their cars as much now. Pretty. For being an old Mondeo, it's really good condition. Bodywork down the side, perfect. And we don't have the issue with the rust on this one. It just seems to be the driver's side, so I don't know, maybe it doesn't look like there's been anything repaired. There's nothing in the door shuts to say that it's been blended in or anything like that, so I'd imagine that is as it is. Pretty good though, eh? I mean, there's not many cars you can get for £1,100 that is as tidy and as clean as this. Initially I wanted to use this as a pool car. You know, my family are always asking me if I can get loan of one of my cars, and I'm like, no. Oh, was he here? But I thought, you know, we'll use that. But I'm thinking, you know, why not give someone else use it and rather than let someone else ruin it? But yeah, I mean, it's super, super tidy. Really good car. So, now that I've shown you around about the car, the amazingness that happened. You're never going to believe it, but it's true. I've sold the car. I've already sold it. I've literally did the video, the walk round, to show everything in this, and I get the message to say they're going to take the car. I didn't get the £4,000 that I was hoping for, but I've agreed a deal on £3,000. So £1,100 has turned into £3,000. Now that's a pretty good profit for bringing a car home, washing it, and then basically not even advertising it. I mean, that's pretty lucky, and that is, I'm not gonna lie, that is a great start and an absolute godsend, because then it lets me now know that I have a pot of £3,000 to look at another car. It's going to be hard, because I don't think I'll get if I get another one of these, I'll be cooking my gas, because then I'll be spending half my budget. Now remember, I maybe not spend all that £3,000 on buying a car. I may only buy another one at £1,000, but then I'll add to that pot again. So say I spend £1,000 out of that pot, you know, make another £2,000 on it. There's me up at £5,000 pretty much already with initial outlay. That's pretty good going, pretty good going. So yeah, this Mondeo is already sold. Can you believe it? Hopefully the next video I put up will be of what I've bought next, what I've got next, because I need to get shopping, because I want to try and show you that this can be done. So by pure fluke, this video is over, and everybody's watching. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. I'm quite taken aback. It's quite surreal actually that this has already happened while filming. But yeah, it is, and it's done dusted. So thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing, and thanks to everybody for the comments on my last video. You have all spurred me on to do this and to push and to show you a bit of my life and the bits and bobs that I do. I might even show you what I actually do for a real living other than messing about with the cars. It's not as interesting, but it makes me my wages and keeps the will for me for the doors, I guess. Until the next video, take it easy.